You're listening to Informed Dissent. If you're a longtime listener, welcome back. If you're new, welcome, and here's the lay of the land. I'm Jamie Reed, a lesbian and a whistleblower who worked inside a pediatric gender center. My co-hosts are Lauren Leggieri, also a lesbian and a longtime LGBT advocate. Our other co-host is Cori Cohn, a gay man who underwent gender transition early in his life. All three of us come from the left, and none of us fit the story you've been told about who questions gender medicine. And that's not an accident. Every week, we will cover the headlines you need to know across medicine, law, sports, schools, and prisons. And then we dig in. The three of us, and most weeks, a guest worth hearing from. We built this show because we believe that the most important conversations about gender politics are the ones happening between people with real stakes and real disagreements. Free inquiry, honest argument, and dissent that's worth something because it's actually informed. Welcome.
So, Cori, did you do your homework this week to prepare for our episode?
No, I'm afraid I was doing other homework to prepare for job interviews.
You son of a bitch.
So you so you didn't
Don't you talk about my mother? Well, okay, hang on. Okay, fair.
did you see the movie that we
Endured.
Was it called Supergirl?
No, but maybe that would have been a better choice.
No,
What did you
Super
watch?
Kitties would have been better.
We went to see the Odyssey.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to go too.
I know, but I'm
Corey was supposed to
unemployed,
go
so
so
I'm
that
trying
he
to
could
save
also
money.
comment. But I guess he's busy with life.
Yeah, I had
Well,
to rewatch older programs instead. I watched Game of Thrones. Does that count?
the whole thing?
No, just a couple episodes.
Oh, I've rewatched it all twice, I think.
Well, tell me about the Odyssey. I've never
Okay.
heard of it before.
Okay.
What's it all
So
about?
let me tell you about let
What's
me
up, Homer?
let me start, and then our philosophy and literature major can chime in where I make mistakes.
Hey, is this gender related?
Oh, yes.
You
Okay.
know, it isn't. Actually, somebody pinged me and was like, "Can you guys, I'd love to hear your take on like Elliot Page and this whole cultural
Who?
thing." Um
Ellen.
Oh, I've heard her. She
and
was in
uh
Juno.
and I thought, you know what? Why not? Everybody is talking about this movie. I really wanted to see it. I love Greek mythology. I love Christopher Nolan. And I love going to the movies. And I just really wanted to see it and was like, fuck it, I have a podcast. We can watch this movie and talk about it. And then Corey just totally blew that to
Yeah,
shit. So we're
I
gonna.
did. Did you watch it in the 70 millimeter format?
No, we didn't do IMAX. We didn't do
We didn't
IMAX.
do
We
IMAX.
honestly, we went to go see it. The thought was like last minute on like a Friday, and I think the only tickets we could get throughout the whole weekend was like 9 a.m.
On Sunday.
on Sunday, and it was not IMAX. And I was like, all right, let's just go. I want to see this movie.
Yeah, and it's like $25 a ticket to watch it in IMAX, right?
I think it is more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Christopher Nolan's Odyssey um had a lot of backlash for a little bit, at least on X, over the casting of Ellen Elliott Page as Sinon. I think I'm pronouncing that
You
correct.
are, yes.
Okay. So Sinon's character, Ellen Page, was not in the film all that much.
Oh,
So it was a couple key-ish clips.
Yeah, so she wasn't in the film a lot, but like her character was kind of I think Nolan described it as the emotional anchor point. So it was a significant, but not like a heavily on-screen character. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Okay.
favorite part of Odyssey is when Zeus rode down on a lightning bolt and shouted, "Trans rights are human rights."
Yeah, that was my favorite part too. Um,
Okay. So Sinon, this is the character that Ellen is. And honestly, if anybody hasn't seen this movie, like Corey, we're just gonna destroy it's all
oh
whatever.
yeah, this is total spoiler, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to see it and want to enjoy it, because I do know people who did. I was not one of them. Um, to each his own. Don't listen to this podcast.
Okay. So Sinon, I don't understand the background about how Sinon is Odysseus's cousin and that Sinon was somebody else was supposed to go to war instead of Sinon. Lauren, did you they were pulling
Yeah,
that?
somebody basically one of the yeah, he basically gets tricked into enlisting in this war as a basically a child, and then the child was a different character than Elliot Page, so you're meant to believe that this young boy grows up to be no taller and weighing 20 pounds less somehow. Um, Sidebar, but yeah, he was tricked into enlisting in this war, going to this war, the Trojan War, this being the Trojan War, for the Greeks.
Yeah,
And then he plays a pivotal role in tricking the Trojans into bringing the Trojan horse into Troy. However, that's not actually in the Odyssey. That's from another very famous epic poem. Like, so Sinon doesn't really exist in Homer's Odyssey. It's centuries later in Virgil's The Aeneid, I believe.
Yes. Okay. So I'm perfectly okay with this character not actually existing in the Odyssey. Like I'm okay with Christopher Nolan like rewriting the Odyssey and like retelling it. That's totally fine with me.
mm,
Um, Ellen Page, also the character, like Lauren was saying, is the one who is left behind on the beach with the Trojan horse and basically tells the Trojans, no, 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 this is an offering to Athena. This is a gift to you. Um, which I found challenging that the Trojan horse is a false presentation of what it truly is, and Ellen Page is the one
oh, I
handing
see.
off the false presentation of what it really is.
I, I see. So you're saying there's a some irony here that you appreciate that maybe the filmmaker himself doesn't.
Yeah, like so Sinan's entire purpose in the story is convincing people that something false is true.
Yeah,
So like did anybody in that casting team think through that thematic kind of problem for
yeah,
any
they
No,
probably all did.
because no, nobody thought through that. I will say, I think it's interesting that and I think this is the crux of the problem too, that why everybody was talking about is that for you, that interrupted the whole movie experience for you. You're like, wait, what? Like this person?
Wait, could I just ask really quick before we get too deep into it? Because I really
Yeah.
want to know. Do any of us have a problem with women playing male characters or vice versa in a theater or film?
No, that's the thing is that's what I actually wanted to say is that like it wasn't Ellen Page, Elliot Page that bothered me. Lupita, what is her name that played Helen of Troy and her sister, forget her name. Anyway, um, that didn't bother me either. Like she's a beautiful woman, whatever. Also, and kind of ancillary to the whole thing, like is not in a lot of scenes. Like I didn't find any of the things that people were like criticizing the film about all the woke stuff to be distracting at all, you know?
Yeah,
so
Jamie.
the race, the fact that Ellen was no, I that was not that wasn't really an issue because the film itself had so many other flaws. that I think that, and that was so disappointing for me because I also really do love Christopher Nolan. I love his dark takes. I loved his Batman. Like, um, it just was really disappointing because I think that what the whole movie missed was actually the core of who Odysseus is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of felt like it was. But I also was not. This is the thing. I would have got on board with a reimagining of this tale so hard. I love reimagining. Some of my favorite books are reimaginings of old myths and legends. But I wasn't sure what the lesson was either. Like, I thought it was very like first of all, it was long and sloggy, and I'm like, I'm not sure what he's trying to message here. And it's such
Okay,
an epic tale that like I was like just very underwhelmed with how unemotionally invested I was by the end, and just
Well,
wanted to
so
go.
what is for people who might not have a copy of the Odyssey on their shelf, what is the story about? Briefly.
can I do a very brief segue to my high school years?
When you didn't read it?
What I'm hoping your segue involves is just this long meandering story of you trying to get back to your class and it taking
No,
like 20 years to do so.
no.
That would be a perfect segue.
Can I please just tell you this really quick story?
Okay, this isn't a segue. This is a parenthetical. Go ahead.
Okay, I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. We had a lot of books assigned that I hated. I absolutely hated, and I loved to
Yeah.
read. Hated so many of them.
Like the
We were
Bible.
what's that?
Nothing. Keep going.
I think I just missed something. Okay.
It's fine.
Um, so we were assigned the Odyssey of Homer to read. And I remember, like Lauren said, I remember that I don't really think that I read it. Um, but we were supposed to make a diorama, like as like one of the final projects, and you were supposed to pick one of the scenes because it's an epic tale where he goes into all of these battles or situation. It's like it's
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
yeah, okay. You're supposed to pick one of those scenes and make a diorama of it. So I had a brand new, it was nice and clean, giant big black trash can that I was going to build my whole diorama in, but I had to cut out the front panel of it first. And I was sitting at a coffee table with a giant butcher knife because that's a really smart way to cut plastic. And I'm going boop, ba-doop, and cutting along. And then I got to the end of the coffee table and plunged the knife all the way into my thigh. Um, at which point my dad had to drive me to the emergency room with a giant butcher knife, like 4 inches into my leg. And I have this huge scar on my leg from the Odyssey of Homer. And
So
I would say
totally unrelated to what we're talking about.
I would say it's from your lack of coordination, and I wouldn't blame Homer for it.
Yeah,
but
Jesus
every
Christ.
time I think of Greek, anyway, I have this giant scar.
This is a Greek tragedy. So yes, okay,
Okay, but
I get the connection now.
all right, but Lauren, maybe you should say what the actual story was supposed to be about.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
I'm asking just what is an overview of the Odyssey, and try to avoid any self-mutilation as part of the answer.
What is home? Man's quest to go home and kind of I think a challenge, kind of a challenging of fate, but like and also like a celebration of intellect and cunning.
Yeah. So the main character Odysseus is sort of like a man's man.
He is, but he's
Yeah.
also a ladies' man, which
Right.
is another thing that they totally whitewash in the movie. Like he had multiple affairs years long with
Right.
other women.
And so he's at war. He's trying to get home, but he has all of these different encounters.
Yeah,
But when he finally gets home, that's like the final encounter, but it's still a big deal.
yeah.
What's different in the movie? Is he not trying to get home?
Well, he's not cunning, he's not witty, he
He
has no
doesn't have a desire
personality.
to get home though. That's the thing is like there's like a couple lines when they're like, you really don't want to go home, and he doesn't really want to go home. He's kind of portrayed as like, I mean, I've read that they were going for like PTSD war vet, but I was just like, he seems dumb and just kind of like, I don't know, unemotional. And that's the thing is like every reading I've ever done of Odysseus, he's like he's got a lust for life. But like I said, I could have got on board with this if I thought that like if I could follow what the lesson was supposed to be, and I just couldn't. He was just
Okay.
kind of mopey.
But then I walked away and somehow found a trans lesson from Christopher Nolan's.
Yeah, you did. So, I guess it was worth it.
No,
Right.
but the lesson, it wasn't just that Sinon's character is presenting a false presentation and that's how the Trojan horse gets in. What I thought the movie was trying to say was that the Trojan horse broke the social contract.
What does
And
that
that,
mean?
well, they kind of kept alluding to this idea that the social contract of Greece at that time between Ithaca and all of these places was that if a stranger shows up, you
It's
give
the law of hospitality was very important to the Greek culture,
I
which
see.
that is accurate. That is accurate. However, it was again, I always read it as the law of hospitality being broken was Paris when Paris was in Agamemnon's house and then stole his wife, eloped with his wife to
Okay,
Troy.
but they don't include any of that in.
That's not
They
in there.
basically say that the social contract was broken when they broke the law of hospitality by tricking them to bring in the Trojan horse.
Well, hang on. Weren't they at war? Isn't that the context?
Hmm.
How is the law of hospitality supposed to be observed when you have enemies who are camped outside of your city? Are you supposed to be like, okay, guys, we fight from 9 to 5, but would you come join us for a cocktail?
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm not sure. I am not sure. She's saying that's what she thought was supposed
I
to be the
thought the
lesson.
movie was that, but that the social contract got broken, and by making that break, that it, because they did keep saying the whole of civilization now is falling apart. We broke the
Hmm.
social contract, it's all falling apart. And of course, me in my, oh my God, everything is gender sometimes, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, yeah, the social contract, you cannot pretend to be the other sex, has been broken, and now civilization has fallen apart.
Okay.
I don't think Christopher Nolan meant for me to walk out of the movie thinking that was what he was trying to get at.
So therefore what?
None of these reasons are why I didn't like it. I just thought it was incredibly boring.
So when you had really wanted me to go see it, Jamie, were you hoping that there'd be another person who had a similar response to it?
I, well, when we asked you to go see it and your response was, why can't I just read the Odyssey?
Yeah, I've got a copy.
I mean, I just think it's interesting right now, kind of in this moment of time, that there did used to be some of these really big blockbuster movies that were kind of a unifying.
Yeah, like everybody went and everybody was like, that was a great movie. And like, yeah, I haven't talked to any, like a lot of people that have had the same reaction as me, even. Like some people have been like, oh yeah, it wasn't accurate to the text, but I still really liked it. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't accurate to the text. That didn't bother me, but it was trash. I did not like it. I'm sorry, Christopher Nolan. I genuinely love your films. Not that you
But
care.
I
This is trash.
but I don't think it was Ellen Page that broke it.
No, it wasn't. No, because I can get on board with like it's acting, you know? It's whatever.
Can we talk about Ellen Page just kind of in general, though? Because
Yes, that is kind of how we ended up on this train, and I did want to talk about that. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know how to say this without sounding. Um, I struggle with Ellen Page, not just because this is a story of a lesbian who appears to still very much struggle with her homosexuality, who transitioned at the age of 33.
Yeah.
Um,
Really? I thought she was like 15.
okay, you're actually kind of hitting on what I want to say, but I'm okay.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead, go ahead.
um, she rubs me the wrong way because she reminds me of a number of trans identified women in my life that I have known personally.
Mm.
It feels like to me that a significant number of those lesbians who do medically transition have a masculine or butch style, but they're not masculine. They are the meek, um, God, I feel like an asshole kind of saying this. They never they are never read convincingly as male because they just don't have masculinity like
They do get read as
they
gay men
get
though.
read as gay men. But I don't know what I'm trying to get at. Why are those the lesbians that transition? Like they prefer short haircuts and like those clothes, but they are not strong, like core people.
Well,
And that's what I see as uh, Ellen representing.
yeah, I mean, it does bother me immensely that there has never been a Hollywood icon that like I could have looked up to and saw myself in, and the first time that there's this huge opportunity, um, she's telling young lesbians that actually your body's wrong and you're really just boys. And you're better off like damaging your endocrine system and your reproductive system and I mean, everything. It's just very frustrating that like when have we ever had like an effeminate gay man that was like a superstar that like could be, or like an actual butch lesbian that like made it to the A list and like was an action star or whatever. Like we don't, but now when it's like this, I don't know, conformist version, it's suddenly like superstardom. Like I don't know. It's disheartening because I know young girls like me are looking at Ellen Page and thinking, "Oh, that's me."
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's true. I'm not saying this to be insulting to Ellen Page, but she, in her masculine film roles or TV roles, she just looks like a 15-year-old boy, maybe 14-year-old boy. Like she doesn't give man,
No,
right?
she doesn't. But
No,
neither do
like
No,
Chase Strangio does not give man. Chase
no.
Strangio gives lady wearing a mustache.
right, but they know. These girls know. I've had so many actually like through like Instagram and all these things say like when I see someone that I know is like me, they're all trans men.
Yeah, but there's some women who transition that do have a fairly masculine affect, and
Yeah,
wouldn't they be the ones that these girls look up to? Not
they're not the ones that society has just platformed in a way that like this Ellen Page is a superstar. I mean, everyone knows who
no.
Ellen Page is. Yeah.
Well, she's well known, but she's not a super. She's never going to anchor a movie ever again.
And she was in that
It's like C-list.
that kids show,
The Umbrella Academy?
The Umbrella Academy. Thank you. Which I
That's
never
not a
watched, so I don't know. But
that's not a children's show.
she went from female presenting to male presenting through the arc of that show.
They did. I don't think the
She was a big
fans
part of
were.
normalizing it for a whole generation of a whole nother generation.
Corey's
Yeah.
trying to say that's not a kid's show.
It's not a kids show, and I'm not sure that the fans are even that impressed.
That impressed.
Yeah, I'm sure, we're talking the important subset of fans that matter. I understand to your point are the girls who are impressionable. So I do understand that. But more wider spread, I don't think that the fans were all that impressed with her character change.
Going back to the 14-year-old boy,
Yeah, maybe 13.
be- before I got kicked off of lurking on that trans mask Facebook group, that came
Oh,
up a
you got
lot.
kicked.
I
You
got
know what? It was best because she was obsessing over it. I think losing sleep because it was very disturbing.
it was so upsetting, but
Yeah.
I've been booted. But I do think that that was a thread of kind of, I know I look like I'm a 14-year-old boy. I know I look like a lot of people were commenting on that.
Yeah.
But
Like
Well, now
a
you
lot
can
of
look like a 14-year-old boy and be a superstar.
well,
Be in the
could
biggest movie of the
I
year.
want to make sure I understand. You're saying that when you were lurking in a social media space for women who identify as trans, you're saying it was a very common concern among those women that they presented as like early pubescent boys instead of as adults.
yeah, they commented, they recognized I look like a teenage boy.
Yeah.
I I don't think that that's necessarily what they were going for, but they acknowledged that that's what was
No.
happening.
I want. Do you have any sense at all what they were going for?
Oh, part of why I was so intrigued by that whole group was its own internal divisions and conflict over the individuals within there that wanted to be read and viewed as male, and then those who just wanted to fuck with the gender
Yeah.
and do, I mean, there was a lot of conflict in that. Is this treating something called gender dysphoria? Is this just because I feel masculine today? There was a lot of these younger kids who were claiming that they were trans masculine and that they presented in female drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
was a real, I mean, it was just a bag of mental health issues, honestly.
it was,
It's terrible.
but it was fascinating at the same time. Like
Fascinating, yeah.
it
But
was like watching like the largest car wreck you could ever see during a snowstorm where every single car gets hit, no matter like how you try to give enough distance, everybody manages to get smashed.
Sounds great. Where do I watch that?
Lauren's right. I was losing.
she would really, it was like, I was like, I really think you gotta stop. And then they kicked her out, and I was like, okay, good.
Were you
I
commenting? Is that how they found you?
no, I never commented, but I made the fucking mistake of there's bad words in this episode. I screenshotted one thing and I brought it over to X and I was like, damn it. And then the next thing I knew, I was found out and purged.
Yeah.
I can understand. So Sarah Mittmeyer used to be known as Eliza Montegreen. I can
Yeah.
understand now her kind of research into these online communities because um they are they the culture fight everybody's like, oh, this is a culture war battle. You should see what's happening inside of these communities themselves. They have no idea what they're doing or where they're going or where this is headed.
Yeah, I've been in that community.
Honestly, I think
Not the other direction, but yeah, I've been in that community.
I honestly think it on some weird level, if you just let them spiral long enough, they're gonna bring themselves back around to this is all made up bullshit. Because they just,
No,
I think maybe they would have if they were allowed to have explored their identity without making permanent changes to their body.
for some of them.
that, yeah, some subset, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're can I pivot us to our second half? That
Oh
is
my
is
God.
there
Is this gonna be
anything?
like Spider-Man? I haven't seen that either.
No, no. Is there anything else on the Odyssey?
Yeah, I want to make a couple observations about it, even though I haven't seen it.
Okay,
And
great.
I'll say
That's
this is one of
great.
the reasons why I haven't been that excited to go watch it is my understanding is that the source material for this particular film adaptation is from a modern feminist retelling of the Odyssey, which is designed to be more empowering of
You know,
what?
that does make sense. At
Yeah,
that one point,
yes.
there was a point. It was so weird. Okay, I have everybody seriously. If you have not already seen this, we are ruining this whole movie for you. But there was one point in the movie where Anne Hathaway, who plays Penelope, goes on this totally out of context tangent about how hard it is to be a woman in ancient Greece and how she's been running this
I've
kingdom
been
just
running this
fine.
show. I've been sitting on this throne and
And
like
I'm like,
you
that's
actually looked at me and
I
you were
did
like,
because it was
what?
so out of place. I was like, wait, I don't think they had any of this sort of thinking even a little bit back
Okay,
then.
but Corey, two women
Yeah.
just talked over you completely.
No,
Sorry.
it's
Sorry.
fine. No, my
Feminist
favorite part of the
retelling.
movie is when Penelope looks straight at the camera and goes, hashtag me too.
Seriously. Well, but that is kind of what it was like. I was
It
like,
Yeah.
was
she had this outburst, and I looked at Jamie in the theater. I'm like, wait, was
well
that
because
was
I
that supposed
kept
to
being
be in
like,
there? Did they like miss that in editing? Because it seems like it doesn't fit. I mean,
This
you
was just
go,
the
girl, I
actress making an
guess.
aside, like, this
he
is what my
broke the
character is
third
No,
thinking.
it was
wall.
like the longest
Fourth wall.
portion of her
Fourth
text in the
wall.
entire movie. Yeah. It was like her big moment.
Can you believe that they don't know the difference between the third wall and the fourth wall? Me neither.
Okay, go ahead. So yes, you're saying that you weren't interested in seeing it because you heard it was a
Well,
retelling.
not that I wasn't interested, but it kind of killed some of my interest in it because I have the sense that yeah, there are still kind of like stupid, dumb action movies that get created, but I have this suspicion that there is reluctance or opposition to present male characters as agents of the like their own having their own agency, making decisions that are legible to male audience members. Like I wonder, men watching the movie, if they can put themselves in the role of Odysseus and go, yeah, if I were in that
You
position.
know what's funny though, Corey, is that every man I've talked to has been like, I actually really liked it.
Well,
I mean, I
then
don't know
that's
that
great.
that's like category
I
of every man, but like that's funny because I was like, really? It was so
that's why I say I'm not criticizing the film. I haven't seen it, but the sense that it might have this type of attitude towards its main character of the man is less the protagonist and more a foil for the female characters to play against.
They did change up Calypso and um
I think I phrased it the way I meant to. It's
Oh
the
yeah,
the main character is not the
dynamic.
protagonist. It's a foil for the female characters. That's what I was afraid
Huh.
of it being like.
But not the female characters pretending to be male characters.
Well, if this is a woman who's cast in the role of a male character, I'm less bothered by that. As long as nobody's forcing me to think that that Ellen Page is a man.
Yeah.
Having a female portray a male character is not the thing that's really got me incensed.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's crazy because all of this like talking got so many people that normally like again, it got me to go to the movie theaters and I like on my days off I don't want to interact with human beings at all.
Yeah.
And I did because there was such a big hubbub about it and people being angry about and all the things that everybody was angry about didn't were not why I didn't
Yeah.
like the film. I was like, oh,
So
that was
what's our part two? Because I just wanted to throw that out there before we continue.
Okay, well, our part 2 today is about men behaving badly.
Oh, great.
Okay, so
Very excited about this topic. Let's go.
I I will tell you the backstory,
Yeah.
and then we can kind of go from there. So, as everybody who listens knows, for some reason, I still read the New York Times basically every single day when I wake up,
Yeah.
and I look for every single story that they ever publish about trans.
Yeah. You're a masochist. We know.
I know. So, on August the 6th,
their cooking section, banging though. Just let anybody out there that likes to cook, worth it.
Didn't they publish something with like putting garbanzo beans in salsa?
what would be wrong with that?
Well, yeah, what who,
Okay, you just keep going with your New York Times stuff.
Okay. So the title is called A Trans Woman Pulled a Gun and Started a Stand Your Ground Debate. The
Hmm.
author is Jack Healy, who I found interesting. What's wrong? Are you laughing at the
that is the fucking title. What the fuck?
Oh,
What?
I'll reread it.
Someone died?
I'll reread it. A trans woman pulled a gun and started a stand your ground debate. Okay. So Jack Healy is the author who went to the University of Missouri, whoop whoop, for a journalism degree and looks very young in his New York Times picture. I have no idea who he is, never met him.
Like a 15-year-old boy?
Yes, he does look like a 15-year-old boy. Okay.
Oh, maybe he's a 43-year-old woman.
So he handles New York Times like Western states. So this was out of Laramie, Wyoming.
Oh, I've heard of Laramie.
I'm gonna say yes and it is mentioned in the story. I'm gonna give the photo credit name because I actually think the photo in the story was hugely important. So the photo credit goes to Daniel Brenner for the New York Times. So the story. A man.
Wait, now I have to see this photo.
You have to see the photo. It is hugely, hugely important to me. Yeah. Um, if you just search in the New York Times, you just put in trans woman, it's going to come right up. And we'll put the photo in the show notes. Okay, so here's the story. There is a 28-year-old bartender. Are you laughing at the photo?
I just
Oh, it's
Look, I'm not dressed that differently right now.
oh my God. Yes, you are. This photo is so bad.
I went to Tombstone when I was 12 and dressed up like this and got my old-timey photo taken with my sister.
Can
So
we
I
find
guess
that photo and put that in the show notes?
yes.
Okay. Let me try. Can I try to explain this photo?
Yeah, you better power through though, because we might keep interrupting.
Okay. So this is a wooden bench, and there is a man with ill-fitting black pants sitting on a bench with a very unfortunate, very clear, like 5 o'clock shadow, wearing a sort of cowboy hat that has some Native American beadworking around it,
Yeah.
with then
White guy.
white guy with,
Evidently, apparently.
I believe white guy, but then every single like place you could place jewelry on one's body has Native American like beadwork, is wearing some kind of leather necklace thing that looks like you could have bought from like a the gift
Claire's.
shop. Yeah, the gift shop out west. He does not he this is why I don't understand what the New York Times is doing. This person, this looks like a complete self-ID individual. They don't look like they have attempted any medicalization steps whatsoever.
You're
There's
so judgy.
I
Yeah,
but
that's what I think too, Lauren.
You're so judgy.
I'm embarrassed.
I,
See, I said power through.
okay, fine.
Here's
Okay.
here's the peanut gallery.
So this dude
The peanut gallery is the. Oh, keep going.
whose name is Rihanna.
Like the singer?
Yes. See, then I feel like are they spoofing us? Okay. Rihanna works in a bar.
Under the trans umbrella.
Oh my God. Okay. Rihanna works in a bar, and last September, Rihanna goes into work. His shift is supposed to start at like 10 p.m. He goes in early, throws back a couple of shots, right? Like, I work in a bar, I'm gonna take some shots.
Look, this is Wyoming, right? This is probably
This is Wyoming.
like
He
they
steps
do that instead of
outside.
vitamins, right? It's okay.
He steps outside, probably to smoke a cigarette,
Yeah. Or weed.
and has a gun on his hip.
Yeah, this is Wyoming. It's not on a
Okay.
hip. It's a little fanny pack, according to the
And
New York Times.
across the street, kind of down the way, somebody yells something.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, what they yelled was a slur against him.
Sir,
Or
sir, excuse me.
also, did I mention that he has
You
spurs?
dropped your fanny pack, sir.
Did I mention he has spurs on his shoes in the photo? Okay, so somebody yells something at him, and he goes across the street and starts screaming at them in their face.
Yeah.
Solid
So
move.
there's a
Solid
video
move.
of this. So
And there's a video, and one of them pushes him back.
yeah, I want to add some context here. So I know gun owners. All of my guns fell in a lake, so I don't have any anymore. But I do know owners. And when you carry a gun, it gives you a little extra bit of courage to be in a confrontation. So what we see in the video is this guy clutching the place where his gun is. He's not brandishing it. He's not holding it in his hand and getting ready to point it. But it's very clear from the video that his hand is on something, and it could be inferred from whoever he's approaching that it could be a weapon. It looks like somebody who's getting ready to draw.
Okay, but then he gets pushed down, and then he does draw the handgun.
Well, so there's a confrontation in the crosswalk of the street. He gets pushed backwards and falls down. And the person who pushed him and the group that he was with, they just keep walking past. They don't stand over him or
okay.
They're just like
They're leaving.
They're leaving.
Walking away.
They're right.
He's no longer in
departing.
danger.
Right.
Okay.
So we don't know what words were said. We don't know if there was any other types of threatening actions. It's possible that these men might have also been holding a weapon or threatening something off camera. We can't see that, but on camera, it doesn't look like any of that's happening.
So he was then arrested and charged with aggravated assault and
Yes.
possession of a deadly weapon with unlawful intent. He
Yeah.
also faces a separate misdemeanor charge because his gun was identifying as a knife when he was questioned by police.
Yeah. So he misidentified what sort of weapon he had in a fairly consequential way.
He claims he had a knife, when he
Yeah.
had a gun,
Yeah.
and then claims he misspoke about what weapon he have.
Right. Well, knives and guns are very similar.
Yeah, they sound alike. The words are very similar.
Yeah.
Um, the New York Times is framing this as a test of whether Wyoming's stand your ground protections apply equally when the gun owner is transgender.
Yeah, that's fatuous.
I
Isn't stand your ground though like usually really spelled out in law? Doesn't it usually have to do with your personal home space? Or is that
No.
like no,
so
that's the castle doc. Okay, okay, but still, I don't
So
know.
so in places that don't have, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm gonna do my best to explain this. I'm also not prepared very well. I did go to law school for a year. Um, in absence of stand your ground, you have a duty to retreat. So if somebody's threatening you, if somebody's menacing you, and you can safely remove yourself,
Yeah,
let's say somebody, this is like road rage, and somebody gets out of their car and starts yelling at you. If you can just leave, you should, you ought to. And if you instead choose not to leave, but choose to escalate a confrontation, then you lose your right to be immune from a prosecution, right? So let's say the road rage incident again. Somebody starts punching your windshield out, or starts smashing your car. Uh, their action is completely illegal if you're trying to get away. But if you stop and you get out of your car, now you are escalating, so you have some liability.
if I can read you one of the comments from the New York Times article, I
Yeah,
think
please, by all means, by all means.
this was written by reader named Dummy from the planet of Earth.
Okay.
They wrote liberal gun owner and 2A activist here. I really wish this article covered the legal aspect of the case instead of the irrelevant identity of the person involved. This person escalated a verbal confrontation into a physical one by walking across the street and aggressively approaching the other group. This is not a responsible gun owner, and it has
That's
nothing to do with the identity of the person.
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
But stand your ground would be, let's say, well, let me try to change the fact pattern a little bit
I
and
mean,
make it seem like it would be very clearly stand your ground. Let's say Rihanna was standing outside of his bar, and these men came over and started harassing him and were shouting abuse and were physically menacing, like surrounding him. In that case, drawing your weapon is standing your ground. You don't he wouldn't have to go back inside of the bar, he wouldn't have to run away, he wouldn't have to like there's nothing else he would have to do. That would all be potentially open options that might be safe for him to do. But if he's in a situation where he's being threatened like that, he would be able to uh, draw a weapon in self-defense. That's stand your ground.
right, and if that were the circumstances and the New York Times chose to write about that,
Right.
this would make sense. But this is the
Right.
New York Times making like a civil rights argument that doesn't exist. Like
Right.
they're making a story where there isn't one. Like it's not the job of New York Times to manufacture stories. It's the job of New York Times to report what happens.
No, I'm afraid you're
Ugh,
entirely mistaken, Lauren. It is the job of the New York Times to manufacture stories.
I guess.
That's not what they say their mission is, but
Yeah, I guess.
that's what they're working
I mean,
for.
because that comment you read, it hit the nail on, like, why is this even a story?
It was a very mixed bag of comments, but a lot of people, specifically people who said, "Listen, I am a gun owner." Um, I a lot of them were like, "This is not how this is supposed to work."
No,
Um,
you can't go start like
no.
have beef with
Yeah.
people. And
But
by the
see, but
way,
this is the mindset of like they said something mean to me, so now that's violence, and now I can shoot them
And I'll give credit to the New York Times. They included the facts that would allow us to understand why this probably is not a stand your ground case. But they should have done the next step, which is to provide some analysis. The article that you shared with me had all this sort of irrelevant stuff about Matthew Shepard.
Well, that's where I was going to go next. So,
Okay.
Yeah, they're not just manufacturing stories, they're crafting whole narratives of what's happening in society.
That's what
Yeah.
this is.
yeah, I mean, so the
It's
paragraph in here,
it's like they're Homer and Rihanna is Odysseus.
oh God, I didn't
And
know you were going to try to tie this together.
and
Yeah,
these
this is
guys menacing him are the Trojans.
So this is the paragraph where Matthew Shepard gets brought up. So it says Laramie, a city of 30,000, where bike shops and galleries put rainbow stickers in their windows, and Pride Fest fills a park every year, is still living in the shadow of Matthew Shepard. In 1998, Mr. Shepard, a gay University of Wyoming student, was brutally beaten by two men and left tied to a fence in a field, bringing an avalanche of outside scrutiny and soul searching crashing down into Laramie. Miss Kelver's supporters around town worry that the case could divide the town anew, undercutting years of progress in reopening old wounds.
It's funny because that's what the New York Times is trying to do.
yeah, that's exactly what they want to happen. Yeah.
They're making they're not allowing the reader to understand that the tragic death of Matthew Shepard is more complex than some hicks killed a gay man. There's more to the story than that. And also, it happened 28 years ago. How old is this Rihanna character again? Is it 23?
28.
So would have been a baby or not even born yet when Matthew Shepard was killed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like more than a generation ago. But this is the thing with the people who write stories not to inform, but in order to progress the social justice agenda, which is that we have to just keep taking all of these old fables and renewing them over and over again. In a sense, this is kind of what Christopher Nolan is doing with the Odyssey, which is okay. That's happening in the realm of entertainment. But this is supposed to be, to Lauren's point, this is supposed to be a news story, but it's really a fable that's getting a modern remake by casting a trans character in an important role.
You know what I'd really love to point out that in 1998, when everyone was looking one way at Matthew Shepard being murdered, the biggest threat to gays and lesbians was brewing in the Netherlands, because that's when they started transing kids. And we missed that.
Well, I mean,
Totally
there are
missed
other threats to gays and lesbians around the world, but I take your point.
Well, now I'm yet again sad. Okay. Well,
That's our job, is to make
Yeah, we
you
always
sad.
like to end on a downer.
Yeah.
well then
You're
I'll just
welcome.
Cori, are you still off of X?
Yeah, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Then
I'm
you
hardly
missed.
even looking on Knitter anymore.
Oh my God. Well, then you missed my greatest tweet
What was it? Tell me.
um of all time. And it
Oh, wow.
no, I don't know. I wrote yesterday that one of my kids has a fever. I told him no to the movie Dumbo because it's a crying movie. Well, he's now at the end of Cool Runnings, and here I am crying about the Jamaican bobsled team. And Lauren walked in yesterday, and I'm sobbing over the Jamaican bobsled team, and me and the two kids are clapping
Yeah.
as they carried the sled down the ice chute.
That's amazing. So on a completely different note, can we do an upcoming episode on perimenopause? I'm just changing the subject. What?
Oh,
Cori,
What?
with love,
Yeah.
you are a dick.
This podcast is produced by the LGB Courage Coalition, a registered United States nonprofit fully funded by small donations like yours. We work to promote evidence-based medicine, ending the medicalization of gender nonconformity, and advocating for LGB rights. Supporting this show means supporting that work directly. If what you heard today mattered to you, please like, subscribe, and pass it along. Word of mouth is how independent shows like this one survive. You can reach us in the Substack comments section or by email at lgbcouragecoalition@gmail.com or through the contact page on our website at lgbcourage.org. We want to hear from you. And until next week, stay informed and ready to dissent.